Now it's time for Crocs and Dragons.
Don't forget turtles, snakes and frogs.
If you wanna know a puppet furry,
You'll be a hobo
before too long.
Bum 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 bum.
Yay! Puppet Kerry!
Oh look, it's a human.
How are you, little mate?
Not three bad, not three bad.
And hi to all you guys out there,
And welcome to the Crocodiles and Dragons show.
where we're going to teach you guys the basics about reptiles via YouTube.
Yeah, their external features, feeding habits, housing, husbandry, etc., etc., etc.
And we'll introduce you to the live animals here on the show.
So, Furry, what are we doing today on episode 2 of the Crocodiles and Dragons show?
Well, we've got a special guest star, our first on the show. We're going to meet Kerry Blue Tongues McDonald.
Yay!
So, Kerry, how did you get into reptiles in the first place? And how long you've been doing this for? And can you give us just a complete overview of the Kerry Blue Tongue story?
Okay, well, I think I was about 7 or 8, and I used to go hang around with brothers like everyone does, and I think we were walking somewhere, and one of my brothers saw a bearded dragon on a fence, and that being brothers, they dared me to go and pick the bearded dragon up, because they knew that they opened their mouth and be a bit scary. Yeah, that's right. So I went over, grabbed it in one go, came over, and they couldn't believe it. And I think I kept that bearded dragon for a couple of days before they made me let it go, and I think it just went from there. And about 10 or 11, I moved out into the bush, where there's a lot more reptiles than there are in the city. And that's when I got into things like blue tongues and shinglebacks, which then that was they're like a blue tongue. They're my favourite animals. So and they're a bit slower and easier to keep. So yeah, I think I fell in love with the blue tongue when I was about 10-year-old, and I haven't looked back since. And I've been breeding or keeping them or doing stuff with them for about 30-something years now. So
Wow. Did you know I'm a bearded dragon, Kerry?
are you?
Yep. Watch.
Oh, that's very good, Puppet Furry. Can I call you PF, or do I have to call you Puppet Furry?
Pierre?
PF.
Oh, right. I thought you said Pierre. I thought it was French. Or
Oh no.
As Bluey comes around, she might poke her tongue out at you.
Yeah.
Is she being rude to you? No. So that's it. She's tasting the air. She's finding out what everything is just by poking her tongue out. She has a little organ called the Jacobson's organ on the roof of her mouth, and that lets her know what everything is. So whether it's predator, prey, warm-blooded or cold-blooded, anything like that, she can tell what it is by poking her tongue out.
So, what about camouflage, Kerry? How does it differ from the bearded dragons and etc.?
Well, blue tongues will their camouflage will mainly be on the surroundings of their environment. Say if it was a sandy or area, they'd be sand coloured with darker bands. All blue tongues have darker bands.
Is that the central blue tongue?
The central blue tongue, yes. The central blue tongue is a very sandy coloured, very red sand with small stripes on them. They could sit under a bush on the sand, and you probably wouldn't even see them.
Cool.
What about defence and protection, and how does that differ from other animals? How do blue tongue lizards defend themselves?
Defence. Well, mainly if a blue tongue sees something, they're going to run and scurry and hide. But if they are cornered by an animal, a human or anything like that, they will throw open their mouth, flick out their blue tongue, which is what they call blue tongue, and being so vibrant, a vibrant colour which reptiles pick up, It can scare other reptiles, other animals, and after that, and they also put a hiss on. They can even pretend that they're a snake, so an animal won't pick it up. Blue tongue looks very much like a death adder sometimes.
Death adder?
Yes.
Kerry, are blue tongue lizards terrestrial or arboreal?
Well, blue tongues, having short little tiny legs, they will not be able to climb a tree, even though they try to. And even some rocky hills and stuff like that, they'll find it very hard to get up. So they're terrestrial and mainly on the ground.
Let's see.
Yeah.
So, Kerry, what about their mating habits and things like that? How do they differ from other lizards and reptiles? And also, do they have live young or do they have eggs? People out there might want to know.
Well, a blue tongue is a live bearer, and an eastern blue tongue will have from 6 to 20 babies.
That's a lot.
There's even been records of some in Brisbane, Gold Coast area of 26 and 28. So that's very big. Usually around Christmas time too.
Yes. Merry Christmas.
Merry
everybody.
Christmas. Yes, so they usually mate in late August to beginning of October, and 3 months later, or about 100 to 110 days later, is all little baby blue tongues come out.
Well, I love that time. That's the best time of year, I reckon, especially for reptile people and that. What about diet, Kerry? What food do blue tongue lizards eat normally?
Well, blue tongues are omnivorous, which means they eat plant and animal matter, and it's usually about the same, 50-50. But if they can't get a lot of animal matter, they will stick to their plant matter and just get small bits of animals, or they'll even feed on dead things.
So, carrion.
Carrion, yes.
That's a big word. I got it right, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
I'm proud.
And what about housing and enclosures? What do you use, or what have you used in the past too, like outdoor enclosures or indoor, or what do you think's better, and sort of lighting and heating and stuff?
Well, for my first 25 years of keeping blue tongues, they were always outside in a pit, taking that nice sun, and I just thought that was better for them. But in the last 10 years since I've got back into them and realised that you can have a nice tank with a light and heat, and they can survive just very well.
How important is that UV to them, Kerry?
Well, they've discovered now over the last 10 years through a few breeders like myself and others that UV is not as vital as the heat. Blue tongues need the heat to digest their food, otherwise it'll rot in their stomach.
Yep.
So if they can get enough heat in their little enclosure, you just need a basking heat lamp and plenty of ventilation so they don't overheat, and a varied diet, and there you go, Bob's your uncle, and they'll survive, they will thrive, and you'll have a great pet on your hands.
How many different species of blue tongue lizards are in Australia?
Well, there are 6 species of blue tongue in Australia, all ranging basically from a different state, just about, because of the climates and terrain of different places. You've got the central blue tongue in the middle of Australia. That's can handle a bit more of the heat. They're a smaller animal. They even can be nocturnal sometimes to come out at night time because it is so hot. Then you've got down in the real cold parts of Australia, the blotched blue tongue, where they are in Victoria, the Blue Mountains area, and then all the way down to Tasmania. And they can even handle snow.
What?
Yeah, and they usually got a black colouring to them to absorb the sun. So yeah.
What about the ones in Tasmania, those blotched blue tongues? Are they a slightly different colour?
They are. They're a bit darker, and they tend to have a reddish head. They're a very pretty blue tongue, but not as like the Blue Mountains ones.
The alpine ones.
Oh yeah, nice pinks and orange blotches through them, and yellow base. So yes, base colour. So yes, the blotched would probably be the most popular for colour.
What about some of the others, like the western blue tongue?
The western blue tongue, that's very interesting. They were a light colour with really dark bands. So even though they're light, no, they won't overheat from the sun, they've still got the dark bands to absorb the sun. And they all vary in colour of the place that they come from.
So the eastern blue tongue lizard is also known as the common blue tongue lizard, and its distribution spreads into the top of northwestern Australia and down the east coast and across to southern South Australia. So what are we going to meet today?
What we're going to meet today is a few different easterns. Now easterns are the most common that people keep because that's what they have in pet shops and that. Well, the first blue tongue I'd like you to see is the most common, and it's most common in southeast Queensland. It's just your old grey blue tongue or silver blue tongue. And the main thing I would like you to notice about this blue tongue is because he's from southeast Queensland, doesn't have a predominantly big eye stripe like the southern blue tongues, even southern easterns have. So he's got a faint one there, and as the more north you go, the less eye stripe they have. So yeah, he's one of my favourites. He's Sam. He's bred a lot of babies over for me in the last 6 to 7 years. So yes, that's Sam. That's the most common blue tongue you'll see around this area. Now we've got variations of the eastern blue tongue. As I said before, the further you go north, the lighter they'll get because of the sun and everything. Now this boy, he hasn't got very much of a eye stripe either, but you'll notice just his light colouring. The light colouring is from, I think this boy is from near Cairns or up that way, so they tend not to have a lot of the black bands or the dark banding because of the heat, and they don't need to attract it so much like the ones down in southern Australia with the darker bands and darker eye stripes. So yes, he's another variation of the eastern one. Very big boy too. They tend to be up in North Queensland. What I'd like to show you now is two lizards that were bred here in Brisbane, but one came from a line that I knew, from a line that was out in the sandy desert area, sort of central Queensland. So this is another eastern, but she has the nice sand coloured through there for camouflage and the yellow bands rather than the thick dark bands that you would need if you weren't in a place that there wasn't a lot of sun and they needed to attract the heat more. So there's her. She's a very big girl. In the same family, I've got her brother here. That is a very rare colour and it's come up. He's actually a metallic gold. He's not so gold at the moment, he's going into shed again. But yeah, they're brother and sister. And it can show you even the variation and difference between brother and sister, let alone different parts of Australia where they come from. But yeah, they're another two you noticed without the eye stripe. What we're going to get out here now is some southern blue tongues, Sydney, Gosford way. There we go. I think we've got there's the female. You notice the dark eye stripe. She's also she was called a het hypermelanistic, so that means one of her parents was a pure black eastern blue tongue, but we'll get on to other colours, forms and that, and mutations. I'm sure Mr. Furry will do that. This is the most common form around Sydney. You've got your dark colourings in through the back, and then you've got your dark eye stripe. So that's one thing you'll notice. And further south you go into Victoria, I'll get more darker bands and a darker eye stripe.
Okay, so end of the show. We want to thank you very much, Kerry, for coming on our show today and telling us about all these little critters, the eastern blue tongue lizards. It's been great to have you, and thank you very much, mate.
No worries, Puppet Furry. I love talking about blue tongues. And yeah, that's about it.
Catch ya!
Bye.
So don't forget to watch our next episode, episode 3, the Murray River Short-necked Turtle.
If you like this episode, feel free to subscribe and like us on Facebook. Use the links down here below.
And if you have a question for me, leave a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. See yas!
Catch ya. Hey, Puppet Furry,
Yes, Furry?
why do blue-tongued lizards actually have blue tongues?
Have they been eating lollies at all the kids' parties they've been going to?
Yeah, mate, they do.